Avery, great to meet you, man. Where are you in Canada right now as we speak?
Toronto right now. I'm
Oh,
nice downtown Toronto. Yeah,
okay. So originally you're from Vancouver?
that's right. Yeah, I grew up in Vancouver for pretty much my whole life, and then I came out to Toronto for university, and then ended up staying.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that whole situation and switching over,
Yeah,
man. But how are you handling this weird weather? Because as we speak right now, as you can probably tell, it's pretty cloudy, but it's kind of warm. Last night was storming. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
man. I've honestly I haven't washed my car and I don't know how long because I feel like I wash it, it's just gonna get messed up
yeah.
again.
Totally. I have the same problem, and I got stuck in the storm yesterday actually, which
Ooh.
sucked. It was like starting to rain slightly, and I was like, oh, I can still probably go on a walk, and then did not end up well. But yeah, it's been pretty wild. Like I kind of am at the point where I'm almost kind of ready for fall, like a little bit. I Fall's my favorite season, so I'm happy with fall. Winter though, not a fan, but fall's good.
Okay, I can tell you straight off the bat, man, we're already in fall. We've been in fall since I would say middle of July.
Yeah.
It's been feeling like this, so it's crazy. And no, I agree with you. Look, I love all my seasons, but and I love winter. But I'm
Mhm.
just like, you want to give me a little bit of snow, that's fine. But when you start doing that once every 2 years where it comes up to my hip
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
not that cool.
Toronto, yeah. And it takes
Yeah.
me about 5 hours to shovel by myself.
Hmm.
That I'm not digging too much.
Yeah,
So,
that's on the fence for sure.
but I am digging the fact, man, you are part of RBCX Music. Congratulations on being part of this group, man. How does it feel?
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I have never feel like I've had that type of support, even from like the corporate side of things. And the whole program's just been really helpful and, new audiences, new connections, and really helping kind of get the music side of my career like kind of to the next level. So yeah, I've the whole team's been amazing. It's such a great program. I'd pretty much recommend it to anyone I meet. So
Yep.
definitely very
Well,
thankful. Yeah.
let's talk about that for folks who don't know. RBCX Music, man, what is it exactly?
Right. So the first up with RBCX Music program is kind of a program that takes a lot of resources and funding and connections and gives it to a lot of up and coming musicians and acts within Canada. So they look for kind of aspiring talent throughout all of Canada, people ready to kind of make that next step. And they provide a lot of resources and backing and training and opportunities for those people. And even this summer, I've had so many opportunities that I never thought I would get. And having the ability to be able to do that is kind of the next level for me. So yeah, it's been awesome.
I think one of those things was, didn't you go to a concert recently because of
I
RBCX
did.
Music?
I did. Yeah, I played the RBC Canadian Open actually, which
That's it.
was crazy. Yeah, I am a huge golf fan. So kind of being able to like mesh the two was like it was pretty surreal to be honest. Yeah.
Bravo, my friend. If there was one thing that you can point out that you would say, if it wasn't for RBCX Music, blank would not have happened, what would it have been? Other than the golfing concert.
Yeah, I mean the golfing concert's a good one, but honestly, it just gave me a lot of perspective. I went to school for finance, and I was never really doing music. I've come from like a relatively musical family, but I never really was doing my own music until probably like third year university, so like 3 years ago. So it's always kind of been something that's on the back burner for me, like aside from work. And I, I've always like it's always been my passion and dream. So I think one thing that the whole first up with RBCX music program has given me this summer is like kind of that perspective that it could be a possibility of doing something more full time. So just having like the opportunities and the looks and just the feedback on the music, it's given me kind of like a next level of energy and boost to, want to make better music always and continue to develop as an artist. And I feel like I've done that a lot this summer, and being able to kind of like look into the future, it's given me a lot of like good hope. So I would say that's probably my biggest thing.
Let's talk about the finances, man. I mean, why would
Yeah.
you go from a
Yeah.
solid working background to an industry that can be ups, downs, and all around?
I actually do both. So I'm still kind of running the hybrid show, almost like the two lives. So it's really funny actually. A bunch of my music friends, like we record a lot out of Kilometer Studios on Dundas. So they're a great publishing house over there, and they have like such a great space. And it's on the way back from my office. So like I'll go to recording sessions or writing sessions in like a suit sometimes, and it's very like it's very funny. It's definitely the grind, but yeah, I mean the whole industry is like so different than the whole finance side of things. It's like very different. But fun. I mean, it gives you a bit of both worlds, but obviously music's the goal and the dream, but yeah, hopefully one day.
Curious though, how does your brain handle that? It's
It
almost like,
doesn't. It
it's
doesn't.
like it's like Bruce Wayne during the day and Batman at night.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty difficult. It's hard to switch it off. I mean, I will say it has given me some good like ability and like a leg up in some way in terms of like the whole business side of the music. Because
Mhm.
I mean, I went to school, I studied that forever, so I've been blessed and lucky enough to be able to like run a lot of like my own management stuff for as long as I have, which has been great. I mean, I have some help now on the management side, which is awesome, but you know, in those early years when you're having to deal with like negotiation or contracts or even like just like pricings on things, like just being
I
able
get
to
it.
have that. Yeah, exactly. I have to tap into the left side on those conversations. So yeah, it's interesting having both for sure, and especially now with like more opportunity on the music side, it's definitely a pretty 50-50 split, but yeah, I mean it's still good. I love the people I work with on both ends, so it's a good spot.
Have you ever had it where, I don't know, dealing with a client, the client goes, "Hey, wait a minute, don't I know you from some show?" Or vice versa? You're playing the show and going, "Wait a minute, aren't you my finance guy or something?"
Yeah, I had it was kind of funny. My old boss, he came to one of my shows and he was like couldn't even believe it when he saw me playing, because I feel like the first few shows I did, I was obviously really nervous and you know, as you would be. But I kind of slowly started to pick up steam, and as I've been playing more recently, quite a bit, I feel like I kind of enter like a different zone. Like when I go up there, like it's not even really me up there. In a nice way. Like I just feel like I let everything go and hopefully try and put on the best performance I can for the audience. But yeah, I remember he saw it and he was like very surprised, I think was the best word I can use to describe it, just because he sees me every day like in such a calm and focused, you know, mentality at work, and then on the music side I completely let loose. So yeah, it's really fun. I've had it a couple times actually, not really a client side, but my physiotherapist. I went in for my like first session with him and he like actually recognized me, which was pretty crazy. And he had like a bunch of my songs on a Spotify saved, which was like hilarious.
Ah,
But yeah, I mean that stuff happens like not as often as I would like, but still happens, which is pretty, it's, I mean it's crazy humbling and pretty cool to know
you
that
just
the
mentioned
music's
physio,
beneficial.
man. What's going on? I know I got a bad shoulder that's been
Oh,
going
I
on
got a lot of
forever from
messed up
working out.
things. Yeah, I was a kind of, I guess before the finance and the music, I was actually a really big sports guy. Like I still do, but I played a lot of sports growing up. Baseball was my main one, and I was playing pretty much every day in high school. And ended up throwing out my elbow. So yeah, I have a lot of back and arm, shoulder problems that happen now. And I still play like basketball and soccer, and I golf a lot. So yeah, I just have to kind of keep the body as nimble as possible. Then physio helps a lot with that. So definitely important. I would recommend it to pretty much everyone.
I got to ask you this, man. Where the hell did you get the great hair from?
I don't know. Thank you, first of all. But yeah, I don't know. I guess my dad. I don't know. I was actually talking to my mom about this the other day, but I don't know if it was the if it's your mom's dad or your dad's dad. But I think both sides on either side of my family have pretty good heads of hair. So fingers crossed I keep it
I
for
was just
now.
gonna say, man, do not lose that head of hair.
I
Like that.
know. At least
That's a
yeah.
shampoo commercial waiting to happen when things really click.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
When you were in Vancouver, though, growing up, man, where did the love of music start for you?
I kind of like I had so much musical influence growing up, to be honest. So my mom was like, and my dad were like polar opposites in terms of music. So my mom's side, she was like super into like old school R&B, like the Ushers, Backstreet Boys, that kind of the world. my first concert actually was the Backstreet Boys when I was like 6 or something. I went with her, which was hilarious. But I grew up with like all those like catchy melodies and like really nice feel around me on my mom's side, and then my dad's side was like complete 180. It was kind of like the rock side. So I listened to like a lot of like Radiohead, U2, Tragically Hip, National, and I actually have slowly, like the more I've aged, the more that music has gravitated and identified with me. So my dad like loves it because he always like would give me a hard time because I would give him such a hard time about that type of music early on. I'd be like, I just want to listen to the radio, top 40. And then now like I'll slowly start sending him stuff that he even hasn't heard in that kind of alternative vein, and he loves it. So yeah, I kind of grew up with all of that around me. I've always had like a love for music. I didn't really know I could sing, to be honest. Like I was in choir in like grade 8 or something, but that was like literally the extent of my music, experience. And then one day it kind of just all changed.
You made the jump from Vancouver to Toronto. That was a big change.
Yeah.
From the mountains and, having relatively good weather there and being able to watch television shows at a decent time to Toronto, where it's big, it's crazy, it's a lot going on. Why the switch from Vancouver to Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I get a lot of slack for it, to be honest. Whenever I tell someone I moved from Vancouver, everyone's like, "Oh, I want to go to Vancouver." But yeah, I love Vancouver. It's such a great city. I just grew up there for so long though. Like I mean, there for 18 years of my life. I felt like I had experienced and gotten a lot out of it. And looking into like college and university, I just kind of wanted to make a switch. New environment, new city. I've always been a really big city type of person, and Vancouver, I mean, its downtown core is like fun, but it's small, and like a lot of the lifestyle there is pretty, go to bed early, wake up early. And I'm definitely not a morning person. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of, test, the limits and give a shot to out east. But I've been liking Toronto, to be honest, so far. I think it gets a bad rap, but I definitely think it has some redeeming factors for sure. Like the food scene's great. The music scene obviously is really like popping and really cool. And there is some things to do. Obviously, some of the more naturey pieces you have to kind of drive for, but yeah, we have our redeeming parks like Trinity and things like that are kind of within the city. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely agree with you on that, man. But you're sort of a double whammy. You got the RBCXMUSIC going on. Didn't your name appear something else on CBC, a certain search that was going on?
Yeah, so that was a pretty cool one actually. I had one of my songs came out, which was Pillows, I want to say a few months ago. And this editor over at CBC actually put it on the Songs You Need to Hear, which come out every Wednesday. So I kind of had that connection going with CBC, and then I saw their Searchlight, which is basically they choose 100 artists from Canada that their team's been loving, and I applied for that and ended up getting the top 100, which was awesome. I think there's a lot of artists within that group that, and even in the first ever RBCXMUSIC group, that are so talented, and just to be able to share and have my name in the same sentence is a really humbling experience. So yeah, it's been a good year. I think like I said, like with more of these selections and things happening, it's kind of given me a bigger perspective of people are actually listening to the stuff and identifying with it, which has always been my goal with music. If my song could affect and touch one person, then I did my job. So the fact that it's gaining a little bit of traction and an audience within Canada and even the world, like I think is pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, it sounds great. But when it comes to your music, man, what kind of stories do you like to tell?
That's been a big one. I think this year especially, I've had such a bigger focus on writing. Whenever I started music, like I said, growing up, like I've always been so encaptured and just interested in melody. So I was always convinced that, okay, if you can have a catchy melody, you're good. So I would, blitz write songs in like 5-10 minutes. And as long as they were catchy, I was happy. And that was like kind of the whole basis of like my first project, Bloom, that came out in 2021, I want to say. So this year I've really focused on and really diving into and fallen in love with the whole writing side of music. So I feel like I've always had a really nice knack for melody, but I really wanted to develop as a writer. And I've been working on writing for, people that aren't even my songs, which has been a crazy new experience as well. But yeah, I think writing's been so important, and just storytelling in terms of like my life, I think has been huge. My project coming out in October is kind of like the real first piece of music that I think front to back is really cohesive, and I'm really, really proud of. And I was talking to my friend Chris the other day, and I think it honestly just is like a time capsule of a project. There's themes throughout it, but like each of the songs kind of represent a different piece of my life in the past year. And they all kind of represent like a story or something that happened that was, the defining moment in my life that made me want to pick up a pen and, write a song. So I think a lot of the stories I try and write are just personal ones to me. And I hope that, other people maybe go through something similar or can, apply it to their life. I think that's kind of like the biggest thing that I try and always hit home with my writing.
In the meantime, what single can we check out now?
Yeah, I have my single Winter just came out last month, which is a great one. And my friend Harper, him and my friend Anker both executive produced the project, and Harper actually is featured on my next song. Call Me On Your Way comes out on September 1st, my birthday actually. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's a piano ballad. Harper does his thing on the feature, and yeah, I'm really excited for that one. And then the full project's October 6th. So gearing up for sure. It's going to be great to have that piece of music out there.
In the meantime, man, we got other shows coming up for you.
Yeah, I'm planning to play. I can't say too much about it yet.
Yes, you can.
I don't think, but I'm planning
Yes,
to
you
play
can.
something. Oh, I
Yeah,
can?
you can. Yeah, you can. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Yeah, you can.
I'm playing a show on the 9th. I can give the date at least. But yeah, I'm playing a show on the 9th, and then planning to potentially join one of my friends on his tour actually later this year. So yeah, a lot of music and a lot of performances coming up. I like love the whole performing side of music. So happy to know that I have some shows coming up for sure. I'm probably gonna do something for my project too. I think sometime in October I'll do some sort of like intimate concert or listening thing. So definitely want to do something like that.
Fantastic. Avry, look, man, great having a chance to talk to you. Congrats on this success,
Thanks. Yeah,
especially being
appreciate
with RBCXMUSIC. Welcome to Toronto, if nobody said that to you.
it.
And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen to you in the future, because Vancouver's a great city. I've been there for the Junos.
Yeah,
And definitely enjoyed it. But when it comes to Toronto, because of the multiculturalism here, I think the sounds and things you're going to hear here in Toronto may change the your music theme up a little bit. So
totally.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening with you in the future on that end.
Absolutely. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks again, my friend. We'll definitely talk soon.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Thanks.